let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back to the rhythm, let the bass roll out. Show me how you move, how you get down. Take it to the dance floor, do it now. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. Take it right back. Tell the DJ to bring a new sound. 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 Tell the DJ to bring a new sound.
My feet welcome back, you lovely folks at home, to VLE Challengers Cup 2 Ascension Day number 4. And we're coming back with our second matchup of Group D with the likes of FANATICAL, RADIANCE, and EQUINOX tonight. Two very new faces. Speaking of new faces, we've got Storch joining us for tonight's cast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well. You know, it's been quite a while since I casted, you know. Friday. Been craving some more. Love it.
Yeah, it's like it's just the other day. I wanted to ask, so a lot of our matches, which we've casted a lot of them here so far, we've seen a lot of unfamiliar faces. In this match, we've got the same narrative up against us. Now, you and I did a little bit of digging into the teams before this matchup, but how do you feel about the series overall?
Well, you know, first map on Haven, neither of these teams have really played them. The side of EQ have they played it once in their premiere and they've lost it. And I can't find anything in the history for FNR on Haven.
Yeah.
But that second map here with Abyss. Now, both teams so far are undefeated in Abyss this premiere season. And so I think that's really going to be the deciding factor of this series.
Yeah. And speaking of deciding factors, I mean, I want to talk about some of the players coming into this series as well. And the first one I have here, actually, Jungle, who is the IGL on the side of FANATICAL RADIANCE. And he's the Sentinel player, but I noticed that he plays a lot of Vice in his games. I think his first played Sentinel was like Cypher or something, and then Vice, or Deadlock actually, I think. And then Vice was like second most played, so this is quite interesting. I think we might be seeing some innovation coming out of that team today.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned that Deadlock pick and that Vice pick. Those are two agents that are really like second meta on maps like Ascent, and so maybe EQ might succeed more because they've banned a map like Ascent, and Ascent being out of the pool, it might just hurt FNR.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And it's funny because those two agents that I just named right there, we saw those in the same map in the last matchup on Sunset. It was actually Deadlock and Vice in the same game here. So already coming into this tournament, we have seen a little bit of innovation, and I think that FANATICAL RADIANCE might ride that same wave here. Now, what excites me about that as well is because one of the things that I talked about earlier on the cast with Fish was we talk about the lurk potential with the certain comps that we have, right? And earlier we saw a comp by the likes of Omen, Vice, Deadlock, Raze, and Gecko on Sunset, which I thought was interesting to say the least, and I thought it was pretty viable. We talked about how maybe Cypher should be in that place of the Deadlock because there's no real lurk potential on a comp like that. So do you think that's something that FANATICAL RADIANCE, you know, might have better than that team that we saw earlier?
Yeah, I think for sure the strats might be a little bit better. We see like some coaching coming through on this side. On that one Friday match where there was a team that didn't have a coach and now EQ as well, I think that coach role is so important, and it's definitely going to help FNR succeed here if they were to take it home.
Yeah. 100%. And I mean, talk about opening statements. Now, I want to take things over and talk about also the side of EQUINOX coming into the series, right? We've got Clean and Crypto, actually. You know, if we have this correct and we haven't been lied to this time, we've got Clean and Crypto as the IGLs that were submitted for EQUINOX. And Clean, from what I know, has been playing a lot of Duelist in their games, just from looking at their career history. Their most played Raging is actually Reyna, and their second played is Jet. And on the flip side, we have Crypto, the Initiator IGL, who actually mostly plays Sova and secondly plays KO. So this is the first time I think we're seeing like a true double IGL, you know, idea coming into the server. What do you think about that compared to having the one IGL?
Yeah, so I think what's happening here is Clean on the Duelist role. He's going to take more charge, like mid-round, when to fight things, and then Crypto's going to be more focused on those reads and those setups and those pre-rounds. That's sort of what it looks like to me, because if Clean's able to keep like his team pushing forward into fights, that can be really good at boosting that morale. And if he's not the one being critical post-round or pre-round, you know, that allows Crypto to sort of take that. And I think it can actually be just an overall boost to the team's morale.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm excited to see how that actually plays out. As we look at this map select right here, we've got Haven coming out as that first map. And just from seeing the agents that jungle plays from their tracker alone. You know, we were talking about innovation. Now, Haven is not a map that we've seen super duper crazy Sentinel comps come out, right? The most crazy thing we've gotten on there so far is that Yoru ISO comp, you know, with the Sova Cypher Omen, and of course back to that traditional, you know, Omen Cypher Sova Breach Jet. But do you think we might see maybe a Vice or a Deadlock on this map here?
You know, I've been looking at FNR and I've talked a bit to one of their players, Bandit, actually. He's talked about how he's a flex player, leaning more towards that Sentinel role. So it seems that they're leaning towards that double Senti comp. And
yeah,
I'm honestly excited to see it on Haven. I don't think I've ever seen this played.
Yeah.
Like outside of, even in VCT, I can't name any team that, you know, consistently plays the double Senti comp.
I think you're right. None really come to mind off the bat. And we're getting ready to find out here in the Agent Select, folks, as we hop into that here. Okay, there it is.
Wow, 10 chambers.
10 chambers, there it is. There's that Deci-tuple Sentinel, Deck-tuple, whatever word that is. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Pretty soon we'll find out what comps are actually run here, but I love that these teams always love giving us that element of surprise, Storch.
Yeah, and you know, FNR really looking to follow in suit with their coach's name and pop some cheeks. You know, I guess opposite of coach's name. They hope not to follow their coach's name and not get their cheeks clapped, but you know.
Yeah, no, I love that, the play on words. Now, so we're not going to get a look until late, and it looks like both teams agreed on this. So I'm loving the camaraderie here in the VLE Challengers. Now, EQUINOX. I actually think EQUINOX is going to end up doing the meta comp.
Oh, we're seeing some switches here. FNR.
There it is.
Great. We've got Cypher, Sova locked in on FNR. Jet, Omen, locked
KJ?
in. I haven't seen KJ play on this map in a while.
Yeah.
And it gets locked. And jungle towards the Astra here. I actually really like this comp on the sides of FNR.
Yeah. I mean, this right here it's a great comp. I mean, it plays to some really good fundamentals, right? You've got that incredible pairing of the Sova KO initiators. You've got that Neon to follow up. Now, one thing I will say, Storch, in that comp is I'm so used to having a Breach paired with that Neon, but you can definitely find success with it on here. I mean, KO's got, you know, really good flash lineups to enable that Neon to go for those dash fights towards backside, you know, towards A and C, even towards like the Lynx. Earlier, we were seeing Red Panda Gaming in their matches. They were just prioritizing taking A Link control whenever they went B, so I can see some really explosive ideas coming out of that from that team.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, at this level, comfortability means so much on these agents that a KO might actually look better than a Breach would for them, or a Sky would, right? Now,
yeah, it's actually a really good point.
Of EQ, do you think we're looking towards like very old approach to how this map is played? I mean, of course, they don't have the Sova. They're playing off the KO knife for the intel. They have some extra action, KO Breach. But the basis of this comp is like ideas from even the first Strike era.
Yeah. Especially with the KJ too. A lot of times you would see the KJ throw that alarm bot over towards that A extremity, put the turret on that mid box and look for any mid aggression, or vice versa, the alarm bot over towards C, and then KJ just locks down that mid space, especially on attack. But with EQUINOX starting on defense, you know, we're going to see how that's played again. And a lot of times you'll have the KJ turret on that top box towards C long, maybe alarm bot in garage. So I'm looking to see EQUINOX play to that style again. But I mean, in this current meta, I'm just not entirely sure if KJ is good against the Neon, right? Because KJ is good at stalling, KJ is good at chip damage, we know that, right? And passive information, especially long range. But having that Cypher to be able to shut down the Neon and, you know, instill question marks in their head when they're going on those entries so they don't slide into those tripwires, I just think is a bigger stopping ground against that Neon.
Yeah, in this Neon sort of half meta where Neon really can be played on almost any map. That's like, it even more so like shows how strong the Cypher is in this meta. We know that he's gonna get rework some nerfs maybe in the next patch, or a few patches from now when the map pool changes. But for now, he's just really, really strong against every comp.
I mean, the other nice thing about the KOs just shuts things down, you know? So, and it does surprise me actually a bit that we got 2 KOs on this map, because you don't see a KO on Haven that much. So it's really nice to see it, especially in low-elo.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been talking for the past few games about creativity and comps. And so far to me, this looks like the most creative.
Yeah.
From
With
both
this
sides,
knife
really.
going towards a lobby. Already going to spot out a lot of the information here.
Shadows traveling.
FNR here, looking to push up this short. And there aren't really any rotates coming through from EQ. They don't seem to be bothered about the intel that they got early in the round.
Yeah.
I can't use that.
And that is that counter 0 point coming out from short. Right now, the attack becoming a lot more real. Fanatical Radiance budging towards here, but Clean gets spotted out by the recon bolt at the last second. Flash coming through, trying to mask the Owl drone. And there's the stun towards the site as the Molotovs start to land. Look, there are 5 here from EQUINOX, and that comes to a full halt of Fanatical Radiance.
And Bandit gets tagged up as he's trying to cross. And they're out. They're gone from A. But look at how fast QB is rotated here. Already almost on the C site. Takes up Garage. And Crypto, they're actually tripled up coming to C. They're so prepared for this hit.
Oh my goodness. Prepared they are. And the Neon is put all the way through. Fragment going down towards main, denying the rest of the team coming through the choke. He's out of sight. But the shots are labored and it does not go his way. The Flood's coming right on through as the bodies start to drop. Astra trying to do the damage, but Bandit going on his lurk over here towards B. Yeah. And they might be aware of this too. KB already looking back, takes one to no one. And that Sentinel lurker, bam, that's the headshot. That is it. Flawless pistol round from EQUINOX.
Wow, and it looked for a moment there like EQUINOX had like really over-rotated. But they were just able to get back to that C site so fast. I think FNR, they just had to speed it up a bit. A little bit faster decision-making there. And this round, getting very similar setup from the defense side. Really like how this Omen KO sort of pairs up. They're able to hold down that mid very well. FNR looking for some garage control here though. We'll see how that goes with the KJ setup.
Yeah. And this is where we get that point of contact at first. KB got spotted there towards the left side. Opening engagement almost taken, but he's going to get out of dodge right now. The attention coming over towards B. And once again, Storch, just like the pistol, all of EQUINOX are already here. Completely denying the choke point, playing around it so well. I mean, that's what you have to do on this Haven map. You've got to be ready for the rotations, be confident, even take those gambles. And that, as it's happening, I mean, Quincy landing some down. These classics are doing damage.
Yeah, and it's a 2v2. FNR, it seems like they've already done their job for this round. Anything more they get is just extra value.
Yep. Speaking of value, we've got the Cloud9 and the Sentinels classics respectively here in the hands of Quincy and Bandit. Love that. Supporting our VCT teams. And that's the knife going to land on the both of them. Yeah. And they know it's towards his B side. He's got the Spectre recovered, but it's not enough. And there it is, Classic landing onto him. We talked about it. They've already done their job, but if they can take the round, they've done more than enough.
Wow.
But it wasn't.
And what a
Crypto
round.
taking him down.
FNR doing a really good job there, getting all those rifles down. And I mean, from the side of from Quincy there, getting two huge picks while he's on an island. I think EQ just needs to peak more together. He was able to isolate 2 picks while 2 players were very close together. I mean, that's just what happens when you use the Cloud9 Classic. You know, such a great team gives you that aimbot. Looking for another mid approach here. We see Astra's maybe looking to get a little bit more aggressive with this Neon. Interested to see in how Jungle is going to play this.
And Quincy Looking for a little bit of B space here. Gonna go through the span with dark cover. Not landing any of the bullets. And right now, you can already see here, Storch, the big game plan for Fanatical Radiance is to really control this mid space. They don't want to stack too much towards those A or C extremities and allow that mid space for EQUINOX.
Yeah, and we're looking towards A here. FNR, they get the pick. And EQ are not prepared at all for this. Bandit has to watch out, though. Might be able to get picked off if they come out of CT too fast.
Quincy getting one on that lurk towards B. That's the Neon here. Once again, a lot of bodies here for the side of EQUINOX, but it's not a man advantage this time. So, and the guns not looking too well in the arsenal. Crod trying to do any damage that he can from heaven. Smoke does dissipate, gets his chance, but Quincy taking down his head. And right now, Crypto taken out of the equation. Raid, Sheriff in hand, 62 HP. Going for the warning shots, but right now all he can really get is damage. Not really much. And so far, Fanatical Radiance have handled this round very well.
And Raid looking to go for the aftershock. He wants some more. Doesn't quite peek. And Quincy's holding. Gets one. Gets traded off. You know, some damage there from Raid. Not a horrible round for EQ. Now they have an eco. They have the eco to buy. And FNR, you know, a couple of light shields, a couple of weaker guns going to this next round. Clean opting for the Marshal here, though, going for the op.
It's really good to see EQUINOX going for that outlaw buy as well, understanding the economy of their opponents, but Overdrive is invested into this round most likely from Fanatical Radiance. So far, once again, super slow play here. Paying attention to the extremities. What kind of reactions can they draw out? Quincy already looking to take control of this B space.
And Quincy's just up so fast. EQ have to find a way to punish this. If you look at how he's getting there, he doesn't have anyone with him. I think it's really important that EQ pick up on that fact and try to counter-push him.
Yep. And those are patterns you want to start to see early in the game, too. So they can really start to stack against you. I mean, this mid control at some point, you want to take it back. But I mean, EQUINOX, their rotations are so good. Seems like they're really playing for that retake style. Really flood, even. KB,
yeah, and
speaking of,
the drone's
might be coming.
Canceled. And
yeah,
all 5 members of FNR in Garage here.
This is so dangerous. There it is. Flash comes through, commencing the hit. 63 HP on KB. Vandal and a Dream. And right now the hit comes through. Flash from his teammate. It's Team Flash. Fragment lands down on him, and it's not enough. Quincy gets taken down there. And the numbers dwindled so quickly.
Spike planted.
And now it's all up to Clean. Has a Phantom now. KO's hit 100. Maybe trying to look for some more. Eco's a little bit weak, though. He could go for the save here. Will forfeit the op the next round, though.
Yep. Looking for the first. Yeah.
Doesn't look like he can go for much more.
I just realized that was a Marshal he actually had instead of an Outlaw. There's something about that Marshal skin. Looks so large.
It does.
Gonna recover the Vandal and save.
Yeah. And I mean, great take from FNR. They did feel they were going a little bit too slow in Garage.
Yeah.
And EQ weren't quite ready enough for that hit. Feels like they had a lot of time to prepare. Need some faster decision making here from EQ.
And a lot of these times it looks like the plan for EQ is to just use that 0 point over towards A lobby every single time. And Fanatical Radiant's gonna have to be dodging this if they want to go for these 5 stacks as well, because they got hit by it the first time, and this is again getting hit by that. And so far, it's making it so they cannot utilize any utility coming into this. But still inching up on the take.
Neither team has really seemed to take account for what util or what agents are being used where each round. There's no contingencies being made.
Yeah, and it starts to beg the question, how late is it going to take you to get that read onto the game? Bandit just slipping out of the dark cover, getting the first pick.
And you just know that Raid was not expecting that at all. He was turned trying to shoot the Sova dart. Bandit comes through with the pick.
And that's the breach
and that's
too.
No breach.
Such an that's an important agent for retakes.
They had the Rolling Thunder as well. That's huge.
Ugh.
No, Bandit
shutting that ability down.
Oh, FNR
it's a bit labored.
30 seconds left.
Now it looks like FNR is going back towards A, and EQ are fully unprepared for this. QB's gonna get the noise. He's gonna give that comp to his team, and they're starting to leave now. Will he get caught out by Boomered? And he doesn't quite. Boomered's still holding the angle.
10 seconds left.
Might be able to catch this Omen. And now a 2v3 retake. Crypto trying to look for something out of heaven. And QB's smoked off. This is going to be really tough for EQ to try and get something out of.
Crypto falling asleep at the angle there. Looking for damage from the Bulldog. Does take down Bandit. Boomer left on a bit HP towards Long, but they can't go for this defuse. It's too awkward here. Trying to go for it. I mean, the pick's coming through from KB. Even taps onto the spike here. But that Astra during that post-plant jungle, playing it smart.
Yeah, and EQ are just looking way too slow. They need to speed it up a bit. They need to try and take some space. They're playing this KO breach comp, but they haven't tried to, like, take any space away from FNR. I'm kind of surprised at how they're playing this.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that was one of the biggest gripes we had from one of the teams earlier today on this very map. Not enough fights being taken, or even if they were taken, the execution was falling really short. And so, you want to see these teams figure that out here on this defense. Because that's been one of the halves that's been pretty damaging for teams in the matches leading up until now. Now engagement,
Robbie,
Quincy.
Crod is now 1 HP.
Ooh. Yep. And Quincy takes him out on that lurk too. And clean. Speaking of the name, super clean with the shots there. Taking down Boomer onto his head. Looking for another peek there, but he's just stalling out time for the rest of his team to get there. Flash comes right through the Astral Divide. Cosmic Divide, rather. KB. They cannot hear the plant, so the retake does not quite commence. No flood this round. Jungle leaving off of the site, conceding the space, but Bandit, he's been spotted towards his backside position. They line up, but KB takes him down.
Now, both members of EQ, 45 HP. Quincy has 2 on the round. Jungle's fully prepared for this. They're just so set up. And the subtle sound cues that QB is giving Quincy might sell out Jet, and it does.
And I love the way they're playing disciplined around this Astra utility towards the late rounds. They know that Gravity Well don't have to peek onto it, but Quincy, what a shot! The spray flick over to KB there, 4 on the round. Really nicely done from him mechanically, and that's round number 4, Fanatical Radiance.
Yeah, wow. And I mean, this is why, like, you don't need that duelist with you all the time, I guess. Quincy, speeding around mid, has his hands out, like, half of the round. He's just able to find early damage there onto Crod, gets the pick onto Raid, catches Crod back in Garage. Lurking Neon, you know, I didn't actually hate it that round.
Yeah, definitely seemed to work in their favor. Speaking of favorite, Clean opting out of that Marshall now. He's got the operator in hand, looking for the jump spot. Towards C Long, there's the ping comes through. Boomer does spot him out, so gonna walk the other way. And that's smart. Quincy starting to explore this garage area, and I mean, they're assuming that is very passive towards C, just based off that alone, but he's walking up. The shot does not get taken. He completely whiffs it, and Quincy landing the headshot One trade coming through from Garage, and right now the retake already commencing before the spike goes down, but Quincy has completely stopped them in their tracks. KB taken out of the equation, and Raid going down to the fragment of Boomered, and it's only Krod left with the Sheriff.
That fragment was so huge. I don't know if you heard, but Raid actually ulted there. And it just canceled it. And that's the round for Fnatic Radiance.
They look good. They look good.
Yeah, looking really good. And something needs to happen from QB. As we said earlier, like this week, on Friday, I believe, that coach just so important. We're not seeing any timeouts coming out. And EQ just needs to stop this momentum. They need an answer. And they clearly can't find it within themselves. This is the point in time where that external help is so much needed.
You're absolutely right. I could not have said that better myself. And hopefully we see that come through, especially if they lose this round here. I mean, this is where that economy starts looking dangerous. They got rifles in their hands now, but that'll be all she wrote. If Fanatical Radiance managed to take this one away, Bandit going on a more aggressive lurk this time. Cybercage invested through. Stun, gonna force him off the line temporarily, but still opting to stay on that lurk. But Quincy's already out A. It's a full contact play here. Fanatical Radiance taking the timings that they know so well. Ooh, Raid looking like he wants to get ahead of this one. The flash in his hand, but he backs up.
Quincy opting to take the close angle here against weaker guns. They're not going to find him though, and they have to give up space to this KJ. Quincy deciding to bait himself.
Yep.
His team's left him. And nobody's
what's nice
pushing
about
him.
this?
He's able to cover.
Yeah, T-Nex, he's got the Hunter's Fury. Nothing
But
got
Clean
off
is
the
on
back of that,
close
but that
quarters.
stalled them. Yeah. Quincy, he's in such a good position, but rumored from B, it's not enough so far. But you still have that Asher stall utility. The Recon Bolt comes through, and there's two left standing for Fanatical Radiance. There it is. And the spike goes boom.
Crypto's going to fall to it as well. EQ need an answer. They need this timeout. Can they find it? Can they find the strat to win? Will they be able to push this? They need to get Clean more active. It's just not happening.
Yeah, and it becomes really scary here too. I mean, they have a bit of a weird buy here. They've got light shields onto the players there. They do have Vandals and Phantoms, but Bulldog for Crypto. So a bit of a weird buy here. There are some ultimates to work with. We do have the Null Command and the Blade Storm. I'm surprised they didn't even opt in for that for economic reasons on this round here.
Yeah, and I mean, Crypto could have bought a rifle. No, he's saved last round. But Clean has his Blade Storm up. Could have gone Blade Storm, dropped a rifle. Curious as to why they opted out of that.
Yeah. And that's when you start to beg the question, is the pressure mounting too hard? Speaking of pressure, Raid landing that onto Quincy there completely takes down the duelist on the side of Fanatical Radiance, and that's pressure lost going into the exec. But Krod is very aware of the lurk coming up towards C, and I mean, the bodies are just falling left and right. 1v1 after 1v1.
Yeah, and FNR this round seem to be getting punished on these 1v1 fights that we've been talking about. Teen gonna drone through here, spots out the KJ, and EQ is so ready for this garage push.
And they're so ready for this mid control too. It looks like they're starting to, little by little, come up with the answer as to how to shut this down. They know they're going for these small pokes and prods here and there, and 1v1 is just being taken from Fanatical Radiance. And they're able to take those drive fights and take them down because they're so aware of it. Even Boomer going down there towards B. And that was most often in these rounds the late contingency plan for Fanatical Radiance. And so knowing that that's down, they can play towards the sites comfortably.
Revealing area. 10 seconds
And 10 seconds left, 5v2. FNR just, they need to get this bomb down, but they can't.
Last player standing.
But I don't think it's enough time. I'm just gonna swing, try to find those picks. Gets two. Ultimately, that's just eco damage. Wow, FNR really splitting up that round, losing a few numbers, and just need to play more together. EQ, though, very fast on those rotates, and that round it seemed to help them. FNR just need to find a way to draw out these rotates and hit another site. And I don't know if they've realized how fast EQ are rotating to be able to make that plan. Looks like a classic Garage C split. No util here to help Quincy get active though. And
Yeah.
KB, he's prepared for it.
I've never seen this much utility expended towards Garage alone. Both Nano Swarms and Alarm Bot.
Really took Toaster Oven seriously.
Yeah, yes. And there's that Aldrone coming out from C Long. Gonna spot out player on the C site in the likes of the Omen, and there's Quincy responding to that setup, but they get right through it. And I talked about this in the pre-game that KJ is not gonna stop that Neon from sliding right on through. And Quincy saying screw it, we ball, going right through it, but Bandit gets a little overzealous towards B there. And I mean, it's a 4v3, why not? But 4v2 rather. But we have to play it smart here. Crypto does have the null command. Looking for some picks here. Flash comes right on through. Coming right into this one now. The only thing they can really get here is the damage. They have so much stall potential. Got the Astral Stars on the spike. Gonna have to tap to force that Gravity Well out. And there it is. Recon Bolt to follow it up.
Yep, so much util for FNR here. Ready for anything on this post plan. Just feels like an impossible retake. This comp is so good at doing that. And one of the things we have to mention, I think, is with these KO players, I'm seeing a lot of flashes just being sort of aimlessly thrown. Not much thought going into them, not much drilling, no server time. It sort of looks like, you know, maybe there could be more knowledgeable people could be more knowledgeable of their agents, and I think that's really what's hurting both teams right now, actually.
Yeah. 0 point. Spotting the information towards A lobby once again this round, just like many of the others. Now KB, no setup here towards Garage, this time body. Going to be in a very aggressive position with the Sheriff in hand. First fight taken over towards A, and that's Krod coming out successful there. Meanwhile, Bandit and Jungle making control of this A-long space. They're going to have to be aware in just a second. Looking for the jump spot. He sees it. Gonna have to get out of dodge.
Yeah, this is a very interesting buy from EQ. Raid could have bought a Bulldog, and yet 2 players are on pistols.
Revealing area.
Boomer gonna find a pick onto Crypto. FNR maybe looking to go through Rush here, but EQ, KB's still ready for it. Bandit, though, all the way up A.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised we don't see a rotation coming in from them towards that A site. They're still aggressing into this Garage position, even given all the utility coming right on through and the paranoia, completely stopping them in their tracks. But it looks like instead of rotating towards A, they just want to get the impact off this lurk alone. Phantom in hand, only 20 seconds to work with. But look at where Krod has managed to get himself. Yes, one left there, takes him down. That's the carrier, but the shots weren't clean enough to take the second one down. Boomered, always a thorn in the backside this time.
Wow.
Able to take him down.
And what a round from Boomered.
Oh my goodness. All the kills came through. And the spike plant was actually stopped from that aftershock, but Boomer just kills them all.
Yeah, and what can they really do? They've got an op, a pistol, a rifle. The rifle goes down, and then what can the op do? Can't really turn. And we're finally seeing this timeout come out from EQ. I think it's a little bit late for this half.
Yeah. And I definitely think a bit of this timeout's probably going to be used to talk about, okay, what are we going to do this last round? But most importantly, hey, let's get the vibes back up. You know, let's get the comms in order. Let's make sure our mentality is stabilized going into the second half. Because honestly, Storch, whether this is an 8-4 or a 9-3 half, EQUINOX are going to have to recover that pistol going into the second half if they want a chance in the series, or map rather.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what EQUINOX are going to try and do on this attack half. We haven't really seen them get active much. So, on attack, you know, maybe it'll work out better for them. I'm looking at Raid here, and so many rounds, he's taking fights by himself. He's not really using much of that util for his team. I feel like that's something that's so quintessential to playing Breach, and it's just missing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we talk about that initiator duelist pairing. You have to find the success,
Now,
especially on a map like Haven, where that is such a prominent style, especially with the neon coming into light this time.
Out of charges.
Yeah,
Much more aggressive
And-
setup from KB.
we have Null Command on this KO, but then we also have Rolling Thunder on the side of Equinox. You know, FNR, they really have to have had some sort of pre-round plan for this Rolling Thunder. Get off site, because those fast retakes are just so dangerous. And Krog goes uncleared again! Only able to find one, though.
And those are the corners we have to check going into extremities like this, especially. They were smoked off for a while. So you have to understand entrenchments can happen based off the back of that. Rolling Thunder comes right on through, no smoke towards heaven. But the shots are so labored from Crypto. Whiffing both magazines onto both players, able to reposition him right now. He is left on low HP, 16. That is 20 bullets left in the chamber on the Vandal, going for the wide swing. What a tap onto the head. Aldrone coming right on through, but the knife completely nullifies it. Fragment lands way too far past him. And he's going for that jump spot. He actually got him off. But Crypto.
Reaction time diff.
Yep. Oh my goodness, Storch. That got scary.
Yeah, and Quincy just so unlucky there. He gets aftershocked, tries to slide out, and just as he slides out, we see KB come to his side, find the pick on him. That was a really well executed, like, flood retake from EQ. Now, on this half, I think what's going to need to happen for AQ, or for EQ to be able to come back here, is they're going to need to get more scrappy. They're going to need to get more inserts than FNR were, and really just need to command how this game flows.
Yep.
And now we're coming back. FNR are going to have to continue without their coach here. And that might be a really big hit should EQ start making a comeback.
Yeah, not having that external guidance can really be the difference maker for the team sometimes. Fault line coming right through garage, nullifying any sort of pushes out from the defense. Right now, tip of the spear going to be the Omen and the Killjoy to the side of Fanatical Radiance, but much like that first half, everyone from Fanatical Radiance is here.
And Bandit's on
Just the way that EQ played it. Yeah. Flash comes right on through, but he doesn't go to peek off the back of it. CT fight going to be taken first. They don't expect it. First shot comes through. Second, looking for it. Not going to be enough. KB taking him down. Right now, Quincy looking to come out of this garage smoke right now. Gets punished off the back of the high gear. And TNX, not enough left in the chamber to finish the job. 100 HP for jungle. Classic in hand. And we've seen it happen earlier. And it can happen again.
Maybe 8 HP, but he's going to find the kill. What a round. And I think Bandit there, he has to swing off of his teammate. There's 3 people there. If he swings, he might be able to get 2. Teammate gets 1. I think there's just a better outcome for that round if that happens. We see so often here in VLE, especially with Cypher players playing in very vulnerable areas on site. And we see the pings from KB coming down on exactly where these players have been playing.
That 0 point came down here to nullify anything towards this short push, but he slips right past it. T-Nex there, ready for his trade. And it's enough to do the damage temporarily, but Clean still able to entry out onto the site. Goes a little bit past the Cloudburst there, but nonetheless, still going to successfully get out here. Smokes were taken down, so there's none going to be here to cover it up. They just have to take all the fights dry, and it has gone their way every single time. Bandit, only with the Classic in hand, and the only thing you can really look for in this eco round is damage.
Yeah, and he has to just be patient. Wait for EQ to push into him. Two of them are very low. You see Clean getting maybe a little bit scared here. And it's gonna get tagged with that 0 point. Wrapping back to CT. He's really just stalling this timeout. Clean now. Holding the angle. 21 HP.
Here.
Is this really... Is he gonna go for this kill? This is doable. Ooh. And he gets it. 21 HP. Unable to find the shot. Bandit's unable to get that kill. And that's just a really well played round from EQ there. I think one small discrepancy in their play. Crod was alone pushing that sewers, and TNX was able to find that pick. And he just sort of double up more. But in general, that take was very good towards the A side.
Yeah. I'm looking at the setup coming into this round. Bit of a different look. Oh my goodness. Just an instant shock dart from TNX out of nowhere. Lands onto several members on the side of EQUINOX. And he's looking to lock down the space. Astral Star already pre-placed for him.
Yeah, and I love that play from Sova. TNX really just throwing that util out there, understanding that, you know, it's fine to use a shock dart here. I don't really have many other uses for it right now. And just maybe getting that damage. So big. And Bandit, able to find 2 towards long. Wow, and that's bomb. FNR have bombed down C long. I'm not too sure if they noticed. But Raid's able to find it. Stinger, so close at those close range. So good at those close range fights.
Bandit still locking down towards the C site though. Trapwire still left towards Garage. They're aware of the positioning back plat. That is, and they're going to be able to get past the choke point momentarily. Raid left on 1 HP. So KB going to have to be a difference maker in this round if they want to salvage this one. Spike is down C long. So at some point they have to go recover that if they want a chance.
Last player standing.
So far they're trying to just look for the fights. Flashbang comes through. KB getting pressured here by Bandit. Jumps on the logs. And that's the sound cue given. He looks for the first. Does get the second. But does he have enough time to grab the spike and plant? I don't think so. That's the round for Fanatical Radiance. EQUINOX took way too long there.
And Bandit, despite falling there late in the round, he's able to get 3. It's both towards long. Eliminates any sense of a push from EQ there. Great round from him. EQ, they've been looking good on how they're playing this. I think they're really just losing their gunfights. We're seeing maybe a little bit of a push out of C here. KO's ready to get active. Then 2 set up towards A. And EQ are just 5 stacking it, pushing down. How many can Quincy find?
Yeah. How many can Quincy find is honestly the tale of this round, because right now they are putting the weight of this A site on him in this position. Relay bolt does come right on through and does land. Flashpoint gonna force him out momentarily. And another flash gets him out of dodge. How is Quincy alive right now? 47 HP, had to reload towards the Sheriff. Gets the first pick, and that's 2, 3! Oh my goodness, Quincy! Where has this come from? The mechanical prowess coming out on the server from Quincy on the Neon, but Crypto responding with 3 of his own.
That's a really good save round there from FNR. Quincy, all alone on an island. It's not 1, not 2, but 3. Huge round from Quincy there. That's the type of leadership we like to see from duelists.
Oh yeah.
And now, Null Command is online for the side of EQUINOX. Looks like they're going to use it to hit A. All that's up on the side of FNR is that Cypher ult and then Overdrive.
And he's been in this position before. He's looking to play it again. Nanoswarm came This time not going to be broken out, so chip damage taken through. And the KO null command was enough to not allow him to even sprint out of that position, so this time completely punished for that one. And as the hit comes over towards the site, all 5 members of the side of EQUINOX completely housing this down. And they're looking to get entrenched here. Not even playing off, no spams, clean. An updraft right into that one, and Bandit landing off the neural theft just because of that kill alone. Going right into the retake. Krod taken down, and so far the bodies are dropping, and the plan just doesn't look too good while the Sentry of KB lands onto the head of Bandit. What in the world? And right now the Astra jungle, the IGL for the side of Fanatical Radiance wants to do the damage, but he's gonna have to get out of this one. The jig is up.
And it just feels like a bit of poor pre-round planning that round. So the null command was online, and they weren't prepared at all for it. Raid gonna fall to the bomb. And also, I don't know if you saw it, but that star recall heaven. Jungle took back that star, and it left Boomer in a one-way. And he was able to fall to the player that was playing Hell. And now, this is what we were talking about earlier, Robbie. With this timeout, FNR now down their coach. This is a huge loss for them, especially in this time.
Yep. Yeah, you don't have that external support to lean on. That person who's got that bird's eye view of the match, looking from top to down, giving you those strategic holes, you know? It's like getting on the car, on the highway, driving down. You can look into your rear view mirror and the side view mirrors, but there's always that blind spot at the back left and the back right flanks. And that is exactly what the coach compensates for in this game here of VALORANT. And they do not have that for Fanatical Radiance. But they're at the same disadvantage as EQUINOX. They don't have a coach coming into this, but I mean, it looks like they were leaning on that before. And so with him out of the server, it looks like Jungle, the IGL on the side of Fanatical Radiance, looking on to put his coach hat and maybe find out what they need to do differently here, because honestly, the shooting looks so dang good from Quincy right now. To be honest, Storch, I think they got to go for some good aggressive set plays. Maybe not have him playing in these dangerous positions on site, letting EQUINOX come to him. Bring the fight, him to them, you know?
Yeah, and we've seen both sides really struggle on this defense, right? And part of that is just neither team has tried to take any space away. On this 3-site map, it's so important to do that. And round gets underway. Looks like a split C and A, trying to make some space up A after making that noise C. The group back up A. But they're rotated. FNR is ready for this hit.
Shadows traveling.
Smokes are coming through. FNR is ready indeed. Jungle placing Astral Stars on the site. Their updraft comes right on through, but the overdrive invested into this one. But there's no supportive utility to help that fight. And Krod, he's gotten away with the double entry this round, even with respect to the Jet being alive with the Blade Storm in hand.
Yeah, and this is a save round from FNR here. Getting EQ to invest that KJ ult, that's huge. Anything else that they can grab is just extra. Doesn't look like they can be able to find many picks.
Last player standing.
T-Nex falls all up to Boomered. He's the only player who had a rifle on FNR. Looks like he's going to save it.
Yeah, and that save definitely indeed needed. I mean, Storch, this has been an incredible response from EQUINOX coming into this. I mean, this is starting to look like a really close map, because I remember it seemed like it was really slipping away from them, and they have just gathered so much momentum.
Yeah.
5 rounds out of the 6 so far going into the second half.
Yeah, EQUINOX really able to keep that down but not out mentality, and now scoreboard's even. They're up so much eco. Null Command and Hunter's Fury on the side of FNR here. Could be looking for a huge retake.
Scanning ahead.
We see T-Nex looking for a jiggle, but Clean has that op, and they have not spotted it out. If he goes for another jiggle here, could be dangerous.
Dangerous indeed. And speaking of dangerous, look at where Quincy is. He's just flanking them.
And he's out to Cubby already. This man is faster than Andre DeGrasse, faster than Usain Bolt.
He's just Thanos in the server right now. Absolutely bodying everyone. Disintegrating them. Right now, the Rolling Thunder towards the C site. Hit comes through. Quincy caught out a little bit there. That's the angle advantage for Raid. Got to be aware of that when peeking. Things like that. Huntress Fury comes out from T-Nex. Lands on the Crod. And that's him taken out of the equation. No smokes. No one-way. Operators on site. Cleans. Got to get out of there. Retreat. All four on the side of Fanatical Radiance. And look, he's only got a judge. So he can't even do much from here. But T-Nex will just spam him through the smoke.
What a round from T-Nex. Deserved all of that. Got one with the Huntress Fury. Got another tag with his ult as well. And then the spray down through the smoke off those tracers, just really well played. And that's not even the null command invested, it was only the Huntress Fury. That round is exactly what FNR needed.
Yeah, because I mean, the momentum that EQUINOX are starting to stack was looking so dangerous. Quincy has the operator in hand now, and that's the first blood of this round. Crypto, the KO on the side of EQUINOX going down. That's a pretty strong agent for these takes as well. But look at the setup. We've got Astra and Cypher playing towards A. So much stopping and stalling power here.
And QB finds a huge pick onto Quincy.
Yep. With him out of the equation, I mean, that is just completely dulled for Fanatical Radiance. Okay.
And the Judge able to find one.
Wow.
Judge always a reliable weapon. Feels like it can kill from 30 meters away. And Crod with a bit of a flex ninja play here. And I find the pick.
Spike planted.
Bandit though, from heaven. Getting peeked. Null command gonna come out.
Yeah, they're investing that into this. It shows how much they want it. But he's able to take the shot down onto him. Rez comes right on through. And Fanatical Radiance still handling this down.
And you know, I do like that use of null command there. Their ult economy, they only have one up right now, but Jungle's one off ult, Quincy 3 off. We know that's gonna fall, or that's gonna come quick. How he's been performing. And just getting that extra round is so important right now. 9-11. Looks like they've found a second wind. What do you think EQUINOX can do here to answer?
Honestly, I think they need to go back to that pace that they were setting towards the beginning of the game. They're taking a lot of interesting ones here, and I mean, that round, just an unfortunate first blood happened, but I want to see them get Quincy out of the equation earlier than they have been. Dealing with him, honestly, seems to be a win con. Because he has come up impactful so many of these rounds.
He's got the op in hand again. Looks like they were able to retrieve it. Can't find the shot. And EQUINOX just gonna take B control. Quincy, big pick onto QB. Finds another through the smoke. Wow. And now, FNR so far up. 5v1. Crod all alone finds the first. Spams Bandit down to 1 HP. And 1v4. He's on for the ace. This could be the first 1v5 ace in this VLE season.
Definitely possible, but with the Judge close right like this, it's going to be difficult. Spots him out in jungle. Answers him down with the shotgun weapon. And one thing I just want to take note of here that I've just noticed about this, when we first started seeing, you know, the two differences between Jet and Neon being picked on this map, one of the first things that popped into my head is, okay, if we do play that Neon, what is operating going to look like? One thing I love the way that Quincy is playing it is he's going for these shots, holding very close angles because he knows he doesn't have access to that dash, but you can actually reposition around the map so much quicker on Neon than you can on Jet. Jet just gives you that temporary Jet boost. And then you've got Neon who can reposition quickly, and Quincy has been playing exactly like that. And I think that that style and the amount of variables that he's throwing to EQUINOX right now is what's making it so difficult to deal with him.
Yeah, and I know I talk so much about the ult economy, but you look at EQ, one off that K-wall, nowhere near any other ults, might not even get anything else before overtime. Should it come? Wait, and Boomer, he just trigger disciplines 3, huge round. This could be game. 1v5, and it's done. Quincy gonna end the game the same way that he opened. And
I mean, that right there.
Was a fun map to watch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what a dominant performance from Fanatical Radiance, to be honest. I mean, I just wasn't expecting this match to be that close. I mean, I know we talked about it, a lot of the unfamiliar faces, and then we check out the ranks. We look at the ranked stats as well, and we're like, okay, this will be a little close, but it's been blowouts every single time, so I'm thinking, okay, coming into this one, let me not set that same expectation, but man, no, it was pretty close. And I know that coming out of the first half, 8-4, EQUINOX were at a huge deficit, but their comeback towards that second half was so good. And I think that they definitely showed that down but not out mentality, as you mentioned there, because it was so wonderful for them. A really good try, but what a wonderful performance from Fanatical Radiance, and especially Quincy. I mean, popping off there.
Yeah, Quincy and Boomer really they really surprised me. Quincy, very explosive, very fast. Boomer really took his time. You saw him get those lurks up. So often I feel like initiator players are just scared to be on alert, scared to be isolated. But sometimes that's where you can be your strongest. You can sell a whole fake just off of one piece of util.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And I mean, also, Quincy had such a top performance, but I mean, Boomer, we said his name a lot during the round, so I don't want to say it's a quiet MVP, but compared to how many moments we saw in Quincy, it seems like it. Boomer, so many rounds where he got those multi-kills that just made the complete difference. Him and Quincy definitely a force to be reckoned with here, and I'm excited to see what that looks like going into the rest of these maps, because I mean, if we do get that third map in Icebox, I mean, we might see that KO Jet pairing or that Gecko Jet pairing between just those two alone. But talk about on the side of EQUINOX, clean. The duelist on the flip end and on the opposition of Quincy, not able to find as much value. You see 5 first bloods from Quincy and 0 from Clean, and it just seems like they just couldn't get that answer, and the tip of the dagger was very dull for the side of EQUINOX.
Yeah, it just seemed like he wasn't quite able to find those op shots. They were all just slightly off target. And I think the unsung hero for EQUINOX here, I know, 14-19 from Crud. You might be thinking, what? How might he be the unsung hero? But 8 first bloods. I don't think I've ever seen that in a match this close. Yeah. I think the only time we've seen something similar would be Celestial with Pillow Fort.
Yep. And last cup, actually, Vortex from the Zeta roster on that Omen on Ascent had what, like 15 first bloods or something like that? Had a similar performance from him, but yeah, I mean, seeing that from Crod, it looks like he's looking to fill those shoes of Vortex here. And then we had Jungle playing the judge, all those rounds towards the end there, but what a performance. And I mean, and you said it best, there's layers to all of these squads. You check out Fanatical Radiance, Boomer, and Quincy, and you're like, man, they're so good. But then also Bandit had so many good moments where he was just locking down that site. His lurks on attack were really good too. Boomer was following up with those, and I mean, Jungle was very impactful, just being a thorn in the side of EQUINOX, playing those sites there towards the end. So the Fanatical Radiance roster definitely talented and layered at that.
Yeah, and you see Bandit, he has his setups. There were a few times where he made some misplays. I think that's where he really faltered. But when he was playing correctly, you saw how much he was destroying that other team. You saw the 2 go down with bomb, securing that huge round to make it 9-10, get some more momentum back in FNR. Great stuff from everyone that game.
Yeah, 100%. Now, as the players take time to talk to their coaches, or maybe themselves and their IGLs. They're going to get some time to grab some water, and we hope you lovely folks at home take the time to do the same. We'll be back after a 5-minute intermission. right, folks, welcome back to Fanatical Radiance versus Equinox. We're ready to throw things off over into Abyss as the players get ready for our next game here and get back from their water breaks. Now, going into Abyss, one of the things that I expect here is we're probably going to see 2 Jets, but talk to me a little bit how you think that, like, the importance of this performance that we've seen from both these duelists this first game might affect them on Abyss.
Yeah, so Quincy in that first game really seemed like he was online. Everything he touched seemed to turn to gold. And then Clean looked a little bit shaky. Really looking for him to maybe take a breather, get back on track, and go from there.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, we've seen some, innovation here and there on some of the maps, but looking at Abyss, I mean, it's one of those maps, when it first came out, I thought so many different things about this map, and then we just saw Ascent with just the Cypher here in all of the comps so far. Now, we do have that G2 comp though. Fnatic played it as well. We've got the Astra, Viper, Killjoy, Sova, Yoru. Do you think that we might see one of those from these teams?
That's a personal favorite of mine. I think the Yoru really underrated on this map. Gets a lot of space. Part of me hopes we do. I think it's very exciting to watch, and it all goes down to whether or not they're ready to put in that time, that server time. I think it's a comp that you really need to be on point as a team to play, and if you aren't ready for it, then you just can't play it.
Yep. And I mean, seeing that both teams seem to be comfortable with the style of the KO, just seeing both of them on Haven, looking at the Abyss, we're going to probably see KO on both sides. And I think you talked about this too, especially in a tournament like this with low-elo players. It's really important to play to the comfort, right, of the players on your team. And it seems like KO seems to be a comfortable pick from both sides here. And so I want to see that happen on Abyss. On the flip side, we're probably going to get a Sova from both sides. I think Haven, we had a breach on one end, so we might see something different here on Abyss. I don't know though. Do you think we might see that Neon from Quincy? Because that's the one thing I'm thinking about in my head. I don't know if Neon's that good here on Abyss.
Well, doesn't matter how good the agent is on the map if you're just that guy. And from last match, seems like Quincy is just that guy today. Whatever can feed his confidence, whatever can feed his ego this game, I think that's what's going to be the best move for FNR.
Yeah. And before we get into this match, I definitely want to talk about that MVP we had last time. And Boomer did so well on that KO here, and that was one of my talking points about Abyss, because I expect him to be on this very agent on this map. He topped the entire leaderboard with 283 ACS, 2112 and 15 KD, 2 first bloods and 2 plants. So not only was he shooting his shots, Storch, and hitting them, but he was also giving a lot of support to the team.
Yeah, and I mean, KO is one of those agents that you really don't see the impact until you look at the scoreboard. You press tab and then you see, oh, what? 14 assists? And it just piles up out of nowhere.
Yeah. And it's absolutely done so well. And on the flip end, I mean, just thinking about the duelist on both sides, that was the very next thing that my mind gravitated towards on this conversation about Abyss. And we have a comparison between Quincy and Clean. Quincy on one end, who seemed incredibly comfortable in the role that he was playing. He got 269 ACS, 22 kills, 17 deaths, but 5 first bloods. And that number rings a bell because I look over the side for Clean and there are just 0 first bloods to be said for him. And that could be partially due to the fact that he didn't feel comfortable that game, or that could be due to the fact that the Initiator Duelist combo just wasn't working out for them. But this is a synergy that's going to have to be figured out into this map so that Clean has a window to get the amount of impact that Quincy did.
Yeah, and Clean, last game did look very shaky, but I feel like it's just pre-game jitters. You're here for a reason. You're on a team in VLE for a reason. You're starting as duelist. You deserve that spot. And I know that he knows he deserves that spot. And I think he's going to show up here in this match.
100%. And I'm really excited to see this happen too, because knowing that both of these teams also like to utilize the operator too, and we know that Jett is one of those best agents to utilize that on. So here we are as we get our first look at these comps here on Abyss. Now, the first locks that we get from EQUINOX. Okay, got an Omen, Deadlock, Gecko, Breach, Neon. Wow.
I like this comp. It looks like they're really trying to get more active. And you know, this comp that FNR hovering right now, very, very straightforward. Just, they've opted for the Gecko over an agent like a Sova. How do you think that's going to play into how this game flows?
Honestly, I think that Sova is a big staple on this map, and I think you are missing something huge when you don't have him. And the fact that both of these teams, as we see some locks come through, it's Gecko and KO on the flip end. Both of these teams have such avant-garde ways of looking at these maps from the scope of the initiator role, and I mean Storch. It's a little disappointing, to be honest. Usually I love the agent select, but I don't like these comps too much. I'm not a big fan of the Gecko on this map. I think Gecko excels very well at those close range fights. He's a really good close range initiator, but Sova just gives you that far range information. The Owl drone just covers everything. You've got the recon bolt that you can throw anywhere, from the side of sight to the top of sight, out of bounds, and that Gecko doesn't quite give that same support as a Sova would.
Yeah, and both these teams seem to have been playing these comps in their premier games as well, where they both have 100% win rate on Abyss. They just have to try and prove it to us here today that this comp is viable. I mean, we see Paper X in VCT with all these creative comps that works because of how much server time they're putting in, because of how much work they put in, which you just can't possibly expect of a team at this level. And, you know, we have to realize at a certain point, creativity is fun, creativity is very healthy for the game. But creativity, you know, it's not meta, it's creative for a reason.
And I'm definitely here for it. I love creativity, especially when it comes to games like Valorant. It's necessary. I'm looking at it here. Looks like the first thing we're going to get from EQUINOX is an A hit on this pistol round as we get ready for it. And there's pings all over the site too. I mean, they've got the Neon, they've got the Breach, finally got the pairing that I was talking about that I wanted to see with that duelist. And it's going to come out here.
Oh, and Boomer
0 point.
just on an island, stunned. Can he try and get out of the site before it all collapses on him? Instantly, 3 rotates coming from FNR here. They're ready for the site hit. You know, EQ, they've just missed their timing. And look at how far Quincy's getting up mid. There's no way they can expect this with no active clearing with a Senti. They've opted for the deadlock. They can't know that Quincy's here. And here they go. They're exploding onto the site.
Yep. And so much util was spent. And usually you have that jet scaling towards that top. But this time the Omen going right over top of the Frenzy on Clean does not land. Bandit taking him out of the equation here. Dizzy does come through to initiate things, coming out here from CT, but slightly delayed as the headshots come through from Quincy. Gets 2 picks coming into this, and right now the bodies fall. Crod getting 1 for his troubles, but Jungle with the immediate trade. And that's a pistol there for Fanatical Radiance.
Yeah, and that retake just looked so nice. The Gecko Flash, the Astra Star, the Concuss, you know, that Nova Pulse, it's just so big of a radius, and it just catches 2 of them. Gecko Flash able to get that. What a retake.
BYB fam, going to Astral to do them Astral.
And I really like how Quincy's trying to get down mid here as soon as they detect there's no presence. They've identified that there's no true Sentinel in this comp.
Right there.
And they can just abuse that. EQ now looking back towards A. All 5 of them there. Stun sensor's up, but that doesn't really clear anything. And Boomer, again, playing very aggressive into this save. If he gets picked off, this could be really big for EQ here.
Yeah. And I mean, this is such a dangerous way that Boomer is playing on this, but I mean, it's indicative of the confidence he had coming out of the last game. Clean, trying to be the tip of the spear, not able to land things down off onto Bandit, but that's a Guardian actually recovered in their hands, but Boomer handling everything back sight, and all the bodies drop within the matter of seconds. Fanatical Radiance with a great response here in the anti-eco.
dropping like flies. And now, this round for FNR, you know, save round, maybe looking to get active somewhere, taking mid control. Could run right into EQ, who also seem to be keen on taking this mid control this round. Quincy's on an outlaw, and I'm not sure if that outlaw was shown last round. But we have Crypto and Clean on light shields. That could be huge. EQ opting to split up, separating the breach from the neon. Interesting choice here. 3 now, scaling towards B, about to run into this outlaw.
Tag. Camera taken out.
And the first
Raid's gonna
engagement
find a
taking
pick
over there.
off mid.
Yeah, and that's the Gecko out of the picture too. Very important tool in the retake for Fanatical Radiance, but Boomered, he was just like this on Haven too, always a thorn in the backside of EQUINOX, and he's doing the same thing here on the very same agent. Noise being heard, Neon running through, and he's just calling all of this right now. Jungle on the flip end, Concuss comes through. There's that Nova Pulse, but he gets traded out by KB, playing in a good position. Still on the flank, but Raid, yeah, he was too quick to the punch. Quincy left with the outlaw, full speed running into there, landing onto the head of KB.
Headshot.
And it does make things a little bit easier too for TNX coming into this as well. There it is, Spectre landing down onto EQ Clean, and right now, Wingman not even opting in for that plant. Might have clicked the wrong mouse button, and there it is for Quincy. He's made great work of the snipers in that Haven match, and he's doing it again. What a masterclass on this Neon from him so far. Now there's so many weapons down in front of him. Boom, Vandal popped into hand, check. Going for the peek, not there, check. Spike planted. Relay bolt comes right on through. Raid, he's looking to clear off the angles, fast lane. Invested into this one, and still fear into the mind of Raid. You see the question mark starting to pop up. This barrel gets spotted, he knows he's top sight. Slide comes right on through, flash in hand. Lands in the right spot, gets forced off. 1v1 scenario. Stun comes through, Aftershock invested in both of them. Just looking for the engagement, it's so awkward, but Raid has played it so well.
And Quincy, no slide to get that gun out faster. Wow. Great round though from FNR. This feels like they could have won it, but at the end of the day, did their job. Eco round, they got 4 picks. Now Quincy, because of the kills that he was able to get, he now has that off. And we're seeing it utilized A main, where EQ, positioned towards that area, could find it early. Quincy maybe with a big opening pick here. And EQ's buy is completely scrambled.
Yeah. And he did this last game too. Had the operator on the Neon. First blood comes out from mid, but the Annihilation invested out there from KB. A bit of a misstep from him. Doesn't even land onto anyone here, but the entry is already onto this A site. He's got the Bucky in hand. Looking for the open entry right now, but Jungle is here to help him out. The IGL on the side of EQUINOX.
And somehow Clean gets out unscathed.
Ugh. How?
Now, FNR, they're a little bit late on this retake,
My ult's ready.
but Quincy able to find one, gets instantly traded, and Crod gets traded off. Now with 3v3, all members of EQ are off the site.
No surprise.
Both deadlock trips down.
The fragment is going to force him out right now. And the utility on the spike. Barrel coming right through the smoke. He does get him off the spike. The defuse is not coming through. No more time. All the bodies drop within a matter of seconds of Fanatical Radiance. EQUINOX have handled that so well.
And that's a huge round for EQUINOX there. Clean somehow able to live through so many op shots. And you have to start thinking, you know, Quincy, he's just missed a few shots that round and it's cost them, I think, ultimately the round. And now, Boomered really likes to play up for his knife onto A. I feel like it's a really dangerous position. And EQ, should they pick up on it, might be able to punish it.
Yeah. And there were a lot of rounds where they were actually utilizing that fault line. to take him off the sight line. But the Neon wasn't ready going in. Thrash awkwardly invested this round towards the A site. Doesn't find anything, but is in a recoverable position if they make it fast. Dizzy comes through. But this dark cover towards heaven is a little awkward, but nonetheless still doable. Quincy, overdrive in hand, does take down the opposing duelist and the likes of Clean, but KB Jungle with trades of their own down to a 4v3 and the advantage for Fanatical Radiance. Dizzy activating things off coming into this one, and with the Astra on the defense, going to get through this Nebula.
Yeah,
Wingman.
and EQ, they were unable to reclaim the Thrash. And now,
Yep.
just so down in this retake. Doesn't seem like it's winnable. As I say that, they find two.
Raid
Finds
is going to have
one.
to get it. Oh
Wow.
my goodness!
And Raid with
Raid
a 4K,
has found
touching that
4
round.
kills into that. Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
That is a huge round for EQ. They brought out that overdrive. They also got that null command out. Now, FNR, they do still have Cosmic Divide and Thrash. But those are 2 big hits from last round. And now you have to see, if you're FNR, the EQ are really prioritizing the safe side. How long is it going to be until we maybe see a switch up of, like, maybe a Cypher playing A?
Yeah. It's true.
And Rolling
Because they're
Thunder
starting
gonna
to
come
find
out.
so much success here. Overdrive comes through, Rolling Thunder invested, but Fanatical Radiance smartly opting to play off the site, but the Crossfire, Clean runs right into it. It's not enough for him. The Thrash gets take into this retake right now. And that's an open door. Quincy landing off 2. Thrash landed over towards main. And that's Crod, the Omen, on the side of Equinox, taken out of the equation. Down to 2 HP for Crypto. And Quincy finishing
Wow.
things off there. What a dominant retake from Fanatical Radiance in flawless fashion.
And Quincy, the only one he doesn't get, you know, Quincy's so good right now. He's just on fire. I think FNR maybe needs to look to get more aggressive, get Quincy even more active. They might be able to find even more value from him.
And as we look at the numbers here, I hate to mention it, but we are in danger territory for Clean. Not able to get a frag coming into this round yet. And here we are on number 7. And this is a round that Quincy is looking for that aggression again. Boomer to follow things up. This is that dynamic duo we've talked about. We've gotten so many kills, but Clean finally found his first, but Jungle finally shutting him down. What a good mid play from them.
Told you you're okay.
Yeah, and Clean actually finding 2 that round. Maybe that gives him the confident boost to get back in it.
Mm-hmm.
And EQ immediately opting to run away from that A. After being unable to take the site, every single time where they failed to take the site, they have swapped up their push. And now, it looks like FNR might have the read on this, as Gecko and Neon, you know, position more towards that B position.
And I love this Cypher setup. Got the 2 cages on site to play from safety here. The tripwires are just in the perfect spots for him to be able to play comfortably towards his bookshelf. Relay Bolt comes through, trying to deny a possible operator angle. But Quincy does not have an operator in hand. Annihilation. It's the second time
another
we've seen that.
annihilation.
Yeah. Fast lane comes through, looking for the tripwires. They're aware this is the Cypher site. Does land into it, but he's still in safety.
And EQ, their push has just been completely halted. Bomb down. They tried to send Wingman across all alone. And it looks like they're going to be able to re-clear this. As I say that, T-Nex finding 2 gets taken down.
Spike planted.
But he finds Crypto and Clean. Quincy's ready.
Player standing.
Finds 1.
One enemy remaining.
Gets downed. Jungle, though, has only 1 start and it's on cooldown. He opts to go up into his smoke. I don't think Raid knows, but the jump! And Raid... Wow. And that's just such an unfortunate tactical error by Jungle, giving up that intel of that jump up top.
Yeah.
And it's really just a back and forth game. To me, the rounds don't really feel close. It really feels like one team is making big missteps and the other team's capitalizing on it. And then the next round, the other team makes a big misstep and the first team capitalizes on that. It's just a back and forth of mistakes. Now, Raid trying to maybe look for a pick from mid. And EQ, they're just bundled up in A. Gonna go for a hit with Thrash. Thrash coming out. Can't find any. Boomer though, maybe. No. And Clean, he's ready to push into the CT. We've seen this before, and it looked like a bit of an overheat. And just able to take him down.
Overdrive in the hand of Quincy. This retake has come out so quickly from Fanatical Radiance. They just completely put EQUINOX to a stop. Not even able to get through the choke point. Only the Neon, really.
The bomb isn't even planted. Just stuck in A main. And now it's up for Jungle and TNX. Maybe take some mid control here, try to really sandwich them.
30 seconds left. Last player standing.
And Bandit finding one off the smoke drop. Immediately smokes back up. Raid all alone has to be a save here.
Ten seconds left.
And with the game being so close like this too, just incredibly back and forth, it makes you beg the question, what is the strategy that we need to pull out? Whether you're one team or the other in this game right here, what strategy do we have to bring out to get that convincing edge over the other? Because games like this can go forever and ever and ever, all the way into overtime. Then you find yourself losing the series if you didn't find that strategy. So, EQUINOX, they're going to have to pull something out of their pocket here.
Right there.
Yeah, and for EQUINOX, it feels like a start to that plan to stability is maybe playing the breach with the team. I feel like that's a huge kit of util that you're just completely using by throwing him mid. And 0 Point can catch him out again. Gonna have to regroup with his team. Maybe this will result in a better hit. Crod TP'd in. Gets picked out. Quincy now. Finds the pick onto Clean. That's Overdrive down. And a tripwire kill from TNX onto Crypto. Robbie, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I've seen it like once before, but it is incredibly rare.
I think that might be a VLE first.
Yeah.
TNX really out here setting records. And Crod, I mean, we see right now he's 2-10. Last game I talked a lot about his first bloods. He had 8 of them. But maybe he's just playing too aggressive. We see him TPing in. Nobody's there to help him. He's all alone. And he just falls round and round again. If I'm on the side of EQ here, I'm using this timeout to talk about positioning of the Breach and the positioning of the Omen. Breach needs to go with the team. If they want the double lurk up mid, that needs to be the Omen who goes. Smoke range is long enough where you can smoke wherever you want from mid. And just missing that, and it's such a vital piece of knowledge. Now, FNR really starting to stabilize. They're getting a lot less risky with the way that they're playing. And it's working because EQ, they're just over pushing.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so many rounds too where they wanted to get Clean inserted so deep after they took site control too, but it's always a lone endeavor, Storch. And again, you have to see the breach there, and you said it so well. And hopefully that's a response that they have coming into this, because the difference, once again, we've got the Gecko playing with the Neon here, looking for mid space. So far, trying to stop any A aggression, but look at the rotations from Fanatical Radiance. They are so confident that they understand the early round patterns of EQUINOX right now. And we're getting late enough into the game, in my opinion, where you can say something about the conditioning, too, on both sides. Because the reactions are so much more stark from the beginning of the game.
Yeah, and EQ, it feels like they've just missed the mark here. You know, moving the Neon to mid, but Breach going with the team main just feels like so much lost. I've said it so many times, but it's such a big, important kit that you need to win the game, and they're just missing all of it. Now, Breach Sun's able to get through. We see Clean coming up mid. Could be through to B now. Could get behind T-Nex. And Crud on the entry, able to find a pick onto Boomered. And Clean is up so far in CT. How has he gotten this position? And FNR is wholly unaware. Finds 2. And now it's all up to T-Nex, and he can't do it. Wow, and FNR just ignoring the entire mid presence, whole mid extremity, the whole round, and it kills them.
Yep. And I mean, that round, no pun intended, but that was so clean from Clean. Nice 3K there on the board. And that's what you need too from him, right? I mean, he's been a bit quiet this series. Quincy has been the duelist to talk about, who everybody has had their eyes on. Very vibrant performance on Haven, our last map. And Clean starting to turn up into the server here on Abyss, and that's what you want.
I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Quick set play over here towards A, and it's Quincy
Wow.
looking to be the tip of that spear, but gets taken down immediately. The utility wasn't enough, and there's the response coming from Boomered. Flashpoint was first, Paranoia followed up, and that was enough to take him out. T-Nex gonna have to retreat off the site pretty soon. Does get hit by the Rolling Thunder. Cage to stall things out for just a second, and the flick onto Crod right after the stun has weared off. He doesn't know who to pick coming through that smoke there, so gets punished from main. And that's the numbers already dwindled for Fanatical Radiance. EQUINOX feeling real good coming into the end of this half right now. As success.
Jungle, all alone. 1v3. All 3 members of EQ playing very close together, very disciplined. This is a sort of new approach that we haven't seen from EQ so far. And now, this should be the round. Jungle taking a little bit too long to push in, I think. Last round, you have nothing to lose. And he falls. And I don't know if you saw that, Robbie, but that flash from Bandit actually got 4.
Switching sides.
And
Yeah, that's
had he
insane.
thrown it a little bit later,
No matter what.
you know, Jungle might have been their heaven to capitalize off that. And then the scoreline might be looking differently.
Mm-hmm.
6-6 half, I think Abyss is a very, very even map. Really, any team could take it right now.
Yeah. And then
What I
with the
do like-
6-6 half scoreline, it's so much more even than Haven too. So
Yeah.
EQUINOX a little more comfortable going into the second half than they were last time.
And what I do like about the setup from EQ here is that they're finally positioning the Breach along with the Neon. Now, hold on. Quincy, he's on a lurk on the entire other side of the map from his team. So prioritizing the orbs on overdrive, Robbie.
Yep. And what's nice about that too is he's able to get it for free, no danger given, because that mesh barrier actually comes out from the defensive side of EQUINOX.
Yeah, and I feel like that B-orb is just such a safe orb to take.
Yep.
I think, you know, we were talking earlier about the similarities between Abyss and Ascent and how you play them. And I feel like the orbs as well. The A side orb on Ascent, very contestable. Neither side really taking it. I mean, it's a bit more attack-sided on Abyss, but that B orb is just so free for the attackers on both maps. And Quincy able to find one. Raid down, that's a big piece of util. Quincy's skin shopping, still finds another kill. Doesn't overheat. Now, 3v5 retake, this is going to be really hard for EQ, especially on that pistol round with minimal util.
Last player standing.
Oh, and Quincy now with 3. Could he find the 4K? Or can Clean shut him down? And he's going to find 4.
Go, go, go.
And Robbie, that's 5 orbs to overdrive already.
Yeah, I mean, that is just insane. And I love the way that Fanatical Radiance are so convincingly smart coming into this attack half. They know exactly what they want to do. And they've ticked all of those boxes that round too. Quincy getting that B orb, and they're setting him up for kills as well. So we're starting to see the system at play for this team too. It's such a treat to watch.
Yeah, Quincy really showing that C9 supremacy.
Yep.
Now, FNR looking again towards this B site. You know, early, they tried to show a little bit of presence, try and maybe fake it last round. This round, are EQ going to be expecting that full push? No. And now, there's multiple people mid, and Quincy has an outlaw here. Very
And I
quiet
love that they're
part of
not afraid. Yeah, I love that they're not afraid to put him in a lurking position too. Playing from safety towards bottom mid, he's got the movement to get in and out with the sniper. KB trying to look for damage here. Doesn't take it down. Meanwhile, Quincy did get that pick over towards mid that we were talking about on that flank. Crypto getting spotted out by Boomer there.
Spike
And that's the
planted.
plan.
And overdrive is guaranteed for next round as well.
Yep. I mean, Fanatical Radiance utilizing these first 2 rounds of this half to secure the rest of this half is really good.
Now, on mid there, you know, Crod, he jiggles, he sees the outlaw, and proceeds to peek. That's the smokes. They can't obscure the sightlines anymore from this outlaw.
Too late.
Raid finding a big pick onto
Last
Bandit,
player standing.
and Quincy. For a second there, I thought he found a collat, but no, both just fall at the same time. And what a dominant performance from Quincy.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I mean, so
he can
far, I
drop
mean,
the
just
outlaw.
from these first matches alone, I feel like Quincy and Pillow Fort are 2 duelists to look at.
Yeah. Quincy, Pillow Fort, Bando. You know, there's some really great duelists this year. And I've been seeing a lot of these Neons. They've been holding onto their overdrive pretty late into the round. I'm interested to see how fast this is going to come out from Quincy. And EQ are ready for this hit. We see Gecko Flash about to come through. Can't find Quincy. And that's the site. Is Quincy going to look for more?
Spike planted.
What am I saying? Of course he is. He's on fire. Surely he's going to try and push up some more, but no. Takes the disciplined approach.
There.
Crypto flashed out of the equation for just a second, but Jungle in a really good position on this flank to deal with shenanigans just like that. And the jig is up for Crod. Getting taken down coming into this one, but 3v3 scenario. Deadlock was very low HP. T-Nex gonna land right onto him. They're gonna have to tap the spike. Numbers are dwindling. Time is down. And right now, the moments of desperation coming through. Bandit landing onto the head of Raid with the outlaw. Shots are labored clean. Getting the trade, but Jungle taking him down, and there it is. A round for Fanatical Radiance.
Wow, and Bandit able to find 2 with that outlaw. That's big. And that the only reason he had that outlaw is because Quincy was able to get his overdrive so fast.
I gotta visit the
And now
to play some
Quincy, he has this operator in hand. And EQ's buys are completely destroyed because they lost their force. I think we're about to see a huge win streak here coming from FNR.
And Quincy, once again, the default towards mid. Operator in hand. Raid definitely dancing with danger here. Sightlines opened up. Quincy gonna try to spot him. There's the shoulder. And the pick comes right on through. Crod playing into the dark cover with the Bucky. And we've seen this before.
Yeah, and it seems like FNR, you know, a little bit scared to take this. And they saw how close that smoke came from. And Quincy hit 120. Wow. 850 credits scammed there a bit. Seems like for Crod.
One suppressed. Flashbang.
And Quincy's dropped the op to Bandit now. He's fully ready to entry, but 30 HP and Bogdan's Law is going to take over. And all of EQ
30 seconds
still
left.
on A after 30 seconds of silence. And hold on, this is all because Boomered, he's kept making that noise. Now Quincy so far up mid. He's aware of this deadlock. This deadlock has no clue.
Kill confirmed.
But KB able to find the pick. And that's an op that can now go into the hands of EQ. But they're not going to pick it up. Boomered very late up mid. And they don't expect it. They're not ready at all.
Yeah, and I mean, when you start to look at what the attacker setup is, you realize there's so much stall here. You tap, I mean, a Thrash comes through. You tap again, Astral Suck comes through. But right now, Clean going for the push, takes one down, but Bandit quick to trade him off. Boomered with the last headshot of the round, and that is 10 on the board for Fanatical Radiance.
They're also able to recover that op. That's a huge round, and I'm really surprised that EQ didn't at the very least take the op and throw it off the map. Quincy, just such a dominant performance from him. This is 4 rounds into the second half. He is 4 orbs to a second ult.
Weapons hot. Shutting down.
You know what looking at the scoreline makes me think? I'm just thinking, man, we might not get that icebox after all.
Yeah, and I mean, Icebox always been one of my favorite maps to watch. Really a shame if we don't. But FNR, if they do win this game, they've deserved every bit of it.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, well fought by EQUINOX, and they're still in it too. I mean, 6-10. This is a very salvageable game. And so, could easily take it to a third map here. And this is a round right now where it matters a lot. If you're EQUINOX on the team or a fan or a family member, you want them to win this round right here. First shot taken from Quincy. It's a warning shot, but it's actually him that gets lit for so much HP. And KB is down to 5. Yep.
And Clean. And the op is dropped way off the map.
Yeah, into the abyss.
And Clean not looking for more.
Left.
Maybe that's a bit of confidence issues coming through from how he's been playing in the past map. But I think he's been doing very good at getting back on his feet. Started off this game, I think 0-6. Now he's back 10-14.
Bit of a mix-up there with the wingman, but nonetheless, Bandit gets across and does get a very important kill to get that spike planted, but TNX gets spotted right before he goes into the dark cover. KB on 1 HP this entire round and still covers 2. Annihilation invested, but doesn't even find him. Jungle, he's going for this post-plant play here. Invest the suck into there, but it doesn't take him off the spike. He's gonna have to swing onto it, and that's it. Diffuse comes through.
Now, FNR, they are able to get 2 picks. And EQ, they don't have much money. This could be a hard round for EQ to win now. Because look at Crypto. he's stuck with a Spectre, a Bulldog. He has Light Shield. You know, it's just so
Right there.
much still in favor of FNR. We're going to need to see so much more work from EQ to claw this back.
Yeah. So much work indeed. And Crod looking to be the first point of contact on A. What a dangerous play, especially going up against the Neon comp. Gonna back off here. Opting to play from safety. And that's the null command recovered for Fanatical Radiance coming into this. They may not even use it to get on site, but I think they will. Crod, ready here. He's calling out that orb grab. You heard a few footsteps as well, so looking at the minimap here, EQUINOX are looking to be reactive into this one, and there it is. Null command right on through. Dizzy, fast lane towards backside. Wingman going for the plant. Crod with the spam, and that takes things down for the spike plant. So really good job done from him so far, letting the rest of his team rotate into this. And once again, this is another round that EQUINOX are going to need to crawl back into this map. Overdrive coming through, goes down to Quincy there. And Quincy, he's always won that duel out so many times. He's always good for it. And that's that duelist 1v1 that we talked about before this match. We need that impact to come out pretty soon here. KB making things very difficult over by the choke point. Dizzy comes through and a shot through the dark cover. He tries to make a run for it and it wasn't enough. And there it is, 2v1. He has the rolling thunder, but he gets planted onto the spike. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Does he have time? He does.
And the cosmetic stun. Wow.
Yeah. Down to 12 HP. I didn't even think he was going to get that diffuse, Storch. He got stunned and the Astra swung into them right when they lined up.
And Crypto, what a hero for that round. And EQ, slowly but surely their eco's getting a little bit better. And FNR forced to go on a save this round. Quincy does have that ult up. And it sort of looks like, had FNR looked closer at their eco, they could have had another full buy.
And as things slow down going into this round, it's a mid-approach from Fanatical Radiance.
Yeah, and they're opting for Boomer to go up front. Quincy holding for the B main pushes off this wall. Looks like they really want to get this orb towards Bandit. Now the wall is down. Quincy can start his lurk.
3 members from Fanatical Radiance. Look at this.
Yeah.
KB.
And Quincy, he finds another lurk, gets another, and the B side is fully open.
No way.
Wow.
Storch, he got that first kill with the classic. That's how he recovers that Phantom. And then getting the second one, I mean, completely won this round, basically.
That's as far as she goes.
Yeah, and that right there shows exactly why Cypher is played so much on this map. And even the KJ over the deadlock. Quincy, because of how weak the deadlock trips are, is just able to walk right up and kill clean without him noticing.
Yep.
Where is everyone hiding?
T-Nex leaving a mark there on Raid. Right now, Crypto looking for the shots. Neural Theft does come through. Probably unneeded going into this, but spots the one towards mid. Crypto gonna have to dodge out of this one, save the Vandal. And EQUINOX even further on their back foot right now as the momentum continues to shift against them. Ooh.
And Quincy, yet again showing why he's the best player in the server. Become a C9 fan today.
There it is. Nice shots there from Crypto to end off the round.
Yeah, gets 2 picks. Might have been an eco, but it is going to hurt a little bit. And EQ have to opt to take this time out now.
Yep.
Looking a little bit low on eco, but they can't afford to save this round. 1 off of match point. They have this Rolling Thunder. That's about it. You know, as much as Omen ult can be used well, it's just not a very powerful ult, and it doesn't look like they're getting anything else. Maybe even until overtime. Now, the side of FNR, You know, they have that Thrash. They have that Overdrive. They're just so stacked with these ults. The Cosmic Divide as well. And they've also got this momentum. 5-2 on the half. If you're FNR, you know, EQ's calling this timeout to try and figure out what they're doing. Are you expecting a push? What do you think you're expecting from FNR, or for FNR?
Honestly, I think we are going to get that push. I mean, Quincy, every time he's got that overdrive Storch, he's always getting active with it. And I just don't see them completely changing that pace at all. We've got Thrash in hand. I mean, this is probably going to be a fast hit to come through. Even Cosmic Divide if they want to. The real response, though, that I want to say that EQUINOX have to this is that Rolling Thunder. So if fast site control is taken here, I mean, EQUINOX can just play for full retake if they want. If Fanatical Radiance plant and get off the site here, they've completely conceded enough space for that breach ult to hit all of them at main. And I think with a game plan like that in hand, you don't want your controller going down first. And like I said, Quincy, that overdrive comes online and he just pushes. Gets two of his own, but KB gonna trade him out of there. And right now, this is not the response I was expecting from EQUINOX at all. Completely unaware of the potential of that hit coming through fast.
Yeah, and these newish neon buffs with the headshot multiplier now on the ult means that it's a 3-tap ult, and Quincy's just deleting everybody from the server. And EQ, it's just gonna be impossible for them to win this round, really. No time now. And they're gonna try and save, but they're gonna run into jungle, and jungle gets both. And that is big. EQ has 0 money now.
Match point.
I got enough time to go into the astral form.
Fanatical Radiance 1 round away from success in their opening debut match here in VLE Challengers. And this is the round right here that EQUINOX feel the pressure. You don't want to go down to that bottom bracket this early in the tournament. In this GSL-style group stage we have.
Yeah, we see Crod here with a judge. Seemed to work really well for jungle last game. We'll see how it goes this time for him.
Yeah, and that's a weapon, actually. We don't see that much here on Abyss. So it's very interesting to see him opt into it. There it is. There's that answer you wanted. 2 on the board for Crod, not even getting spammed out. And that's 3, 4. Oh my goodness. The judge of Crod just landing onto everyone from Fanatical Radiance. All the bodies dropping right at the choke point out of the dark cover. And T-Nex. He's got a Vandal recovered here. It's a 1v3. Everyone on the side of EQUINOX starting to position themselves right. And Crypto with the Bulldog landing onto his head. And they're still in it.
And Crod with possibly the biggest round of the series.
Yeah.
Just keeping EQ alive. Gets 4. We know how strong that judge can be. You know, even just last season in VLE, player from Zeta, Lex Sticks, loved to use unconventional guns like the Judge and the Odin. Performed so well with it. And maybe we're seeing this come back into light here in Season 2.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Especially from Crod. He's been so great at it. And Jungle did it on Haven as well. Now, looking at, we want to change the pace here again for Fanatical Radiance. Once again, Quincy elsewhere from where the spike is. Boomered. Coupled up with him, but clean. He wins that 1v1 out. And Storch, I'm not used to saying that. That's usually Quincy coming out on top. Very uncharacteristic duel from him.
Yeah, and clean, just showing, you know, despite how he might have played first game, and at the beginning of this game, he's always ready to perform, always ready for that clutch. And now Quincy down, that's a huge hit for FNR. That's about like a third of their kills from one person. And now that one person's gone. They do have this Thrash though to hit the site. Crod's ready for it.
Yeah. He seems to always love playing around these choke points too. Thrash in hand. Now, Original engagement was taken over at A between both duelists. And so you see why so much of EQUINOX are towards that A site, but the hit coming towards B. Wingman going for the plant now. Goes through. He's trying to spam it down, but he does not. There it is. Wingman taken down. KB getting traded off the back of the Wingman, but Krod looking to be a difference maker coming into this round. Catches T-Nex as he jumps across in the Thrash. Is not able to land. Rolling Thunder comes through. Krod getting a second of his own. Shots are a little bit labored there, but the support from his team to take him down, and there's round number 10 for EQUINOX, and another to live in this series.
Yeah, that's a big round there. Clean obviously getting the pick of the game there. Really saving them by getting Quincy down. And now, FNR, they are going to have a force this round. But the momentum, it's just swinging the way of EQ. This time out, they're really going to have to figure out, you know, how to play together as a team, how to peak in retakes. I think those are the main things that they have to cover. As well as following Quincy. You know, I feel like there's been multiple rounds where he's just been on an island and nobody's been there to help him, and it's not even his fault.
And I feel like this whole series so far, at least for Fanatical Radiance, has been a story of Jungle's IGLing, because since that first half of the first map, their coach had to bail, have a premier game actually tonight. And so Jungle has been given the tall task of making sure he gets the team on board, not only strategically and figuring out how to diagnose these rounds during timeouts, but also mentally. He's taking on the weight of the world of his shoulders in that position right now. And also playing that controller role, a very pivotal role in this game, especially on this map of Abyss. Being able to obscure those sight lines, and even more interestingly on Astra, using that gravity well and Nova Pulse to your advantage. So Jungle rather has got a tall task on him in this series, and it's really a treat to watch him shine.
How Quincy, you know, is looking to get a bit active here. Cleans top library. Deadlock Utah to play off of. And still going through, well stunned. Interesting decision from Quincy there. Gets shut down by Clean yet again. And might we be seeing a resurgence from Clean?
Over there.
Yep. And I mean, Clean coming through too. Talk about stories for both of these teams. When it comes to EQUINOX, this is the story of Clean's resilience. This is the story of Clean's expression on this Neon Agent. We talked about him, gave criticisms after that first map, but he has really started shining in the second map. A lot of errors being forced out from Fanatical Radiance. There it is. Just coming online in every way possible. Running over towards his backside off the back of the flash. 3 on the round for Clean. What an amazing performance into this map. Not letting the pressure settle. 4 for Clean. This man has done amazing things this series.
Get ready. I go fast.
And I am so surprised with the turnaround from Clean here. Back-to-back rounds where he's... I mean, I feel like he's just won 2 rounds for his team.
Yep.
And now, this is the round where it all counts for FNR. If they go into this overtime here, they're down so much momentum. They have to try and end it here, or I think it might go the way of EQ. Now, we're seeing FNR fall back on old habits. We have Quincy coming back to this B lurk. Team working up towards A. They do have Null Command, as well as Cosmic Divide and Neural Theft. You know, really the only big ult from the side of EQ is Annihilation.
Yep. And I just love how aware Clean is around this deadlock setup. One of the errors that we saw earlier in this game is with this deadlock utility, somebody was able to just walk right through it because they weren't even watching this extremity. So you see Clean so intently focused on it. Now, meanwhile, the rest of Fanatical Radiance over here towards this A site. As you said, old habits. Quincy walking right through this deadlock sonic sensor. And at some point, Clean's going to have to be aware of that, but he's just not. Still gets taken down, and he's no longer a part of the picture. And that opens up the entire map for Fanatical Radiance to rotate towards this B site. We could be in our last round of this series.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, and Quincy
charges.
not looking for too much. He knows that the other team's going to be very wary of his positioning. But as we look at EQUINOX, they have not rotated yet. And they're losing, like, what, 20 seconds on the bomb here.
Sensor tripped. Spike planted.
In a 5v3 here,
Exactly where you are.
Arrow Theft's going to come down. And Quincy, he knows where they all are. Knows that he doesn't really have to back up because he can isolate these ones before they come to him. But no, he's going to get annihilated. KB gets one. On the retake now. And there's an
Annihilation
Ultraman.
took him down, but he got his second onto Teen X. He's down to 30 HP, but it's gotten so possible they're gonna have to tap the spike soon. So Gravity Well placed down onto it, and they're getting ready to run out of time. KB gets another one onto it. Do they even have enough time? They don't. And that's it.
Wow. And GG's.
Attackers win.
What a heartbreaking way to lose.
Finally, we've gotten what we've been looking for this whole time. Really, the first series this whole season that's been close.
Yep.
And I feel like EQUINOX, they really could have won that if they had utilized their breach better on attack. I think they're really going to be kicking themselves in bottom.
Yeah. I mean, what a map there. Both of these maps were so good. I know Haven was a bit of a blowout, but I mean, this right here was a testament of the confidence and the resilience from EQUINOX, and they showed so much of it. They were in a huge deficit at the beginning of Haven, bring back momentum on the next half, and then here on Abyss, make things super duper close. I mean, and they did exactly what they needed to do, getting that pistol as well coming into this. We talked about it. Coach isn't here, so you really got to rely on each other. And really proud of Jungle throughout this series, being able to take the weight of the mentality of the team, but also his own impact in the server on his shoulders. Quincy, 9 first bloods that game.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a performance from Quincy. I mean, we don't get to see that every day. And you know, we also have to talk about, I think, Jungle. He did a really good job of keeping composed in his IGLing. He didn't really let any of the potential comebacks from EQ get too far.
Yeah, and I mean, just a clinic for both teams.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to work on for both teams going forward in VOD review, but overall, great performance. Really fun to watch.
Yeah. No, fun indeed. I love the close games like this. We've seen some crazy blowouts here in the games that we cast, just us two together, Storch, and honestly, it was a treat to see a close game, and honestly, I wanted to see that icebox, but we still got a very entertaining series out of that one, and it's always really good to see the newer teams showing their faces here at the VLE Challengers, because it just shows how many more people are so passionate about the competition in this low-elo space. And so even seeing Clean make his little own story here, build his own narrative in this series right here, was just beautiful to watch. And then Jungle on the flip side as the IGL, but even Teen X being an incredible thorn on that Sentinel role. And it's crazy because the Sentinels have been impressing us so far this tournament, and everybody really shining and expressing themselves on these agents. So it really just goes to show how beautiful of a game Valorant is, because of how many variables you have in this game and how everybody can express themselves differently given those variables. Every team has shown us something different so far. And I actually think this was the last opening match. So far, technically, we've seen every single team, obviously with respect to DSS, who had their bye in their first round due to Zeta. And so looking at this here, I mean, this has set an incredible bar for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, and Robbie, I think one thing we also have to talk about that I know is so important to you especially, you've mentioned this before, with flexibility. We look at Bandit, we look at Jungle, we look at Teen X. Teen X, first game, you know, he wasn't on that Sentinel role. It was Bandit playing that Cypher. And Jungle, we've looked at his career, we see how much Sentinel he plays. But on Astra today, all three of these players, you know, playing out of their comfort zone and really succeeding.
Yeah. and out of the comfort zone. And that is the story of Ascension, Storch. You have to get out of your comfort zone to really ascend to success, no matter what the mission is, because everything in this game forces you out of that. I mean, if I'm either of these teams in this matchup that you and I just watched today, I'm outside of my comfort zone already, because we saw some pretty interesting comps. I mean, on Haven, you know, we saw the KOs on both teams, which KO is a pretty niche pick on Haven in my opinion. We usually see that Sova breach, maybe even sometimes fade in that Sova spot, but instead we got a KO on both ends. And then here on Abyss, we have 2 Neons instead of 2 Jets, completely flipping my personal expectations. And so out of your comfort zone, that is. And here in the low elo space, you're always going to feel that too. You're not always going to get those teams that are playing those default comps, right? We've saw teams by the likes of Celestial Titans who has that very default play style, and they're going to play to the pro scene, you know, standards that we know, very principled game. But then we saw people like these 2 teams, Fanatical Radiance and EQUINOX, respectively, showing their own innovation on these maps. And so moving into the rest of the tournament, I think that that's something we should expect to see, a lot of innovation, because although the map pool in this tournament's not going to be changing with the upcoming 3 days patch, we are going to get those sunset changes. So I'm actually really excited to see what happens on that map particularly.
Yeah, you know, sunset, I think we're going to see a lot of teams for the next couple of weeks or so going towards that ban on sunset, just because they're not used to the new changes. And you know, it might actually call for a bit of a comp change. They've removed the unbreakable cipher trip. That was such a huge part, and I mean, maybe it opens more space for chamber comp, or you know, maybe even, I think it's too far to say a Sentinelist comp, but you know, just nerfs Cypher a lot, which makes Neon so much stronger.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, I don't think it's bad necessarily maybe on Sunset a Sentinelist comp, but I think the biggest thing you'd just be missing is that flank watch, especially on attack. There's a lot of teams love to expend those agents over towards tiles, that is, in mid, and you go for that mid control, whether you're on defense or attack. And earlier, I don't know if you were watching the game, but we actually had a double Sentinel comp by the likes of Deadlock and Vice in the server. And I mean, even that didn't work out for them, because between those 2 agents, you don't have very convincing flank watch. And we realized the importance of that just from that series alone. So I definitely think Chamber maybe, but I definitely think Cypher actually might still be super duper viable on Sunset, even though that unbreakable trip is gone. You'll see him playing a lot more for those kill trips, maybe playing behind the smoke and market, and the kill trips are towards site, maybe in the hut between the 2 sides. Might see him playing that backside position. We have a new ledge back there, so I think he's still viable, but you're absolutely right. We're going to see some natural innovation coming through because of those changes, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, very excited to see how this plays.
That indeed. Well, folks, speaking of excited, I'm so excited because although we are done with the opening matches, that sums up what we know about the beginning of Group D. We're returning to the matchups of Group A and Group B on Friday, October 25th. So that's this Friday coming up. Our first match, Storch, Minji versus Corner Campers that Friday. Oh my goodness.
That's going to be a match to watch.
Yeah, what do you think about that one? I mean, I know you talked about that rivalry between the players on Corner Campers and Minji, you know, and I know you have some insights onto the Minji roster. How you feeling about that one?
You know, if I'm a Minji player, I'm honestly feeling a little bit nervous. You know, these Minji players really feels like they have to put in this grind work in this next week to reach the goal that they want of beating CC. But also on the side of CC, I honestly think that you've got to hope that Lotus is banned. You know, looked really strong when they played it earlier this week or last week, but they really just weren't IGLing it properly. And so I think, you know, the series is really a toss-up for me. I think it could go either way.
Wow. And I mean, that's the surprise to me, because while, yes, we were talking about how Minji might have given up a little too many rounds against Visualize, a roster that had a substitute by the likes of CJ, and didn't look like they really had all the right answers, or almost any at all, to be honest. Minji giving up, I think, what was it, 5 or 6? I think it was 5 rounds each of the maps in that series. Correct me if I'm wrong. And So looking to see the improvements coming out, but nonetheless, I still think Minji's an incredibly talented roster. You have Luck from last tournament in Nakamura now, and you have Shizu, that duelist that just loves to go in and kill, even though he may be exploring some of those other roles. I mean, he talked to me about it. He's looking to become a little bit of a flexler these days, and so I'm excited to see what Minji pulls out in that matchup. But on the flip side, looking at corner campers, I mean, they had a really dominant start against Times, and once again, just like in the match against Minji and Visualize, I think corner campers just looked so good, and Times not too good of a team coming into their first match, and so they have to go to the drawing board. Visualize versus Times is going to be a close match, but I think that corner campers and Minji, I don't know, that might be even closer given what their first performances looked like.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty set in my mind in which two teams are going to move on from that group, but which team comes out on top? You're absolutely right. It's anyone's game, and I think it's all up to this week and how much work these two teams put in this week. The IGLing of Virgo against the co-IGLing of Taco and Hoopa, you know, really want to see how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And then on the flip end, I mean, right after that, we have DSS Gaming versus Salvation. Now, the difference, Storch, in that Group B matchup, as we go back into this bracket here, seeing how these groups all panned out after these opening matches, the difference with this Group B matchup, and it's a bit of an anomaly, is that DSS did not play their first series. So that actually somewhat puts Salvation at a somewhat disadvantage over what all the other teams have coming into their second matches, because you don't have VODs on DSS, right? You don't have any opening strategies or tendencies that you can look to develop and play off of in your strategies. So DSS might be coming into a slight advantage just from getting that bye in the first round.
Yeah, and if I'm Salvation here, I'm looking at that last series and how they've closed it out in 2 games. Maybe trying to get a ban on 2 of those maps, or at least one of them. I think the Ascent looked amazing. Definitely a ban on Sunset is, you know, looking probable. Haven't really scrimmed it, played it last time. Looked really shaky at that beginning. Unless they put in a lot of server time and a lot of scrim time onto Sunset in the past week, I don't see it being a map that they want to play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and I agree that coming into this, you might want to change the way that you showed your first look, because there are VODs on you, but not on the other. So 100%, I believe that that's something we're going to see coming into that. Then after that, we have Celestial versus RPG. That's going to be a banger. We have Ultralight Academy versus Fanatical Radiance, who we just saw today. But without further ado, folks, I mean, we are ready to end things off today. We want to thank you, from VLE Challengers to you, for joining us here on Cup 2, Day 4. See you on Friday.
Have a good one, guys. Nice.